Everybody, Chris and Lumen here. Got a lot to talk about. Things are happening. I discovered something kind of big, but also there are changes are afoot. It's time to evolve. Before we get into that, we got to do the drawing for the giveaway winner from 2 videos back. And that was for whatever you need. So I'll need to talk to somebody first to determine what kind of pendant that they need. So let's go ahead and find out who it's going to be. Annie Huey, look at you. You big winner, you. So, congrats. Sophia clearly wants to hook you up with something. So, you know how to get a hold of me. You've got stuff from me before, so you can just message me through the Etsy store. Now, on to the show. I'm in a state right now. I had to put one of those new grounding pendants on because I'm a little freaking lightheaded from the energy movement. Big changes. I'm not sure which one to start with first. Probably talking about that and then talk about what I discovered. Now, I have not worked out the method yet, but then again, anybody that has the right context and the skills can always come up with their own method. But I found something that actually has names in psychology, but we got to come up with our own ways of doing it because the way psychology deals with shit, they just like, they make it overly complicated, and this is way more complex, dealing with a lot of unknowns. But this is the big thing. This is the thing that that gets missed, that keeps us running around in patterns. And it's also directly connected to my back going out the other day. I found out, and I have evidence for that. So yeah, we got a lot to talk about. If you want to know more, don't go away. First, what's changing? Now, some of this is, the whole world's changing, but it's probably more amplified on me after talking to my astrologer buddy, looking at my chart. My chart is like insane right now, with like Saturn and over Pisces and Jupiter boosting it, and like it's hammering me. Things have to change. So I will circle back to the first part, but when I got up this morning, I don't know what this means, honestly. My son woke me up. He's like, "Have you already been up?" I'm like, "No, why?" He's like, the sink in the bathroom was running. I'm like, I don't know how that happened. I don't know if that meant something or what, but it was like the first thing that happened when I woke up. But I was feeling tense, and I was noticing like this money fear. And I'm like, where is this coming from? Like, what the hell? Like, how is this pattern reemerging? There's no reason for it. What is it? Do I got a string on here or something? Bugging me. And it just kind of weighed on me. And then I started to get led to some things. I start following some cognitive breadcrumbs, which is what unveiled a bunch of stuff. But we're going to come back to that. So when I was talking to my astrologer friend about my idea, we got talking about some other things, and especially about me making a clean break from past stuff. Now, Sophia lets me know if we're going to do like a little mini series or something like that. and like the last one we did was at Ascension School. She didn't this time, but like there's like some big time like data dumps in the last week's worth of videos, and there's some hidden patterns in there as well. Some of it was for my own viewing. Some of it was in the last video where I was talking about the difference between how I used to be and who I am now, about my old channel and this channel. That had a direct reflection. And I was telling her, I'm like, I just like, I don't want to do that channel. Okay, I don't resonate with those people anymore. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of good people over there. A lot of them came over here. But across the board, the prepper community is very low vibe because it's fear-based. It's expecting bad things. It's a fear-based mentality. And there's a lot of people there that are, I wouldn't even call them religious, but they think they are. So if you were to bring up anything like this channel, like they flat out attack you. Like they're freaking, like they're inquisitors. It's that inquisitor programming. What? You do not believe what the good guys believe? We must kill you. You heretic. Heresy! And ain't nobody got time for that. Like, I am not going to waste a second arguing with people. I'm not going to waste a second trying to convince people. Like, if they're going to find it, they're going to find it on their own. Okay? Don't ever try to change somebody's mind. It just doesn't end well. Share ideas with people that are looking in the same area as you. Okay? Because nobody has it figured out. Nobody. But, you know, we can make progress and share our experiences that we know work. We can do that. We can let the cat in, because why not? I mean, I'm only a couple minutes into this video. I might as well stop and open the door for the cat. But this is, you know, letting go of that channel has been a long time coming. There's been many times when I've tried to do both, and it's like Lumen just plants her heels and like, no, you're not going out and doing those videos. And there's been a couple small occasions where I shared a little bit of it to draw, she wanted me to draw certain people back over to this side. But then the witch hunt began, so we shut that down. But thing is, it's almost, this is a major empty the cup moment. This is a major nature abhors a vacuum moment. It's just like emptying the cup. You know, when you're doing the knowledge dump of emptying the cup, of letting go of what you think you know, I mean, that's a lot to let go of years of, you know, knowledge that you think you had it all figured out, only to discover that you don't. Well, it's another, you know, it's another thing to have 13 years worth of work put into a YouTube channel and have, you know, built some kind of legacy off of it, only to determine that it's in your best interests, being who you are now, to not only let it go, but you got to kill it off. So what that means is I'm going to have to do a couple videos to meet a few obligations, and I'm going to see how long it is before this other company has the second batch of knives ready. If it's soon, I might just hold out till then. But I'm going to basically count down the last several videos, and then I'm not just going to stop making videos. I'm going to delete the freaking channel. Like I said, the videos on that channel go back to 2013. But here's why. Most of my energy is tied up in that freaking channel. And she was showing me. Like, this isn't just about how to succeed. It's part of like the anchor. It's a big reason why. I mean, some of it is because she does not She limits how many people come here because some people just ain't ready to hear it. But another part of it, there's got to be more. There's plenty more. But my energy is split. I've got over 200, I've still got over 240,000 subscribers on that channel and thousands of videos. That's a lot of my energy tied up in that ego identity that I no longer even attach to. And you've got when you're still out there, you've got all these people putting their mental energy into who they think you are. It's almost like they're holding you hostage. It's a lot of combined mental energy. They're sure they know who Chris is. I mean, people still send me friend requests, even though I barely even post videos. Because everyone wants to be friends with a YouTuber. The people that watch this channel, I see you all differently, like very differently. I talk to you guys all the time, no problem. But it's different with those channels. It's like, oh, almighty YouTuber. I'm like, I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy. You know, it was nice for a while. Opened a lot of doors. I got a lot of things handed to me on a silver platter, but that isn't who I am. And that energy is counter to what the energy of this channel is. That channel is all about, look at this shiny new thing. Don't you want to buy it? Ooh, you should go buy it. That's the exact opposite energy of this channel. Or be worried about things that are going to happen. You better prepare. Like if you understand how the world actually works, you don't have to do that. So I am just not in resonance with my old ego anymore. But leaving that up there, I believe now, based on what she's shown me and what it feels like, that's held me back. And you should see some of the little tiny interactions where I talk about doing other things, or even people are like, what is it? What are you doing? You know, you can read their energy. It's like, I don't need your permission. Like, who made you the boss of me? Nobody. But when people find out that you're not the guy that they once knew, then they get freaking. Whew. So what that'll do will free up a ton of my creation energy. It will allow more things to flow into this. It's one of those leap of faith moments. Like I've had several. The first one being like leaving working for the man and doing YouTube. Well, this is the same thing. It's like, why am I keeping it? It's not making me money anymore. It's just having expectations put on me. YouTube doesn't push the videos anymore. Like there's no reason to keep it. I don't go onto that Facebook profile anymore because my old legal identity got taken over by that channel. You know, I can't post. You know, I used to try to post like family pictures or stuff like that, and people are like, oh man, your daughter's hot, you know, your older daughter, or, you know, stuff like that. It's like, I don't belong to you. You understand that. But the whole, I've tied myself to this thing that I no longer resonate with, and it's got to go. And it's just not stop doing videos. Like it has to go. It has to disappear. It has to fade. I'll kill that Facebook profile too. Start fresh completely. And then that will funnel things into this channel. And also it's just a little bit of that, you know, there's that story Sean Connery tells in Red October, after he tells all his officers that he informed Russia that they were defecting. They're like, are you crazy? It's like, when Columbus sailed to the New World, he burned his ships, and thus his men were well motivated. That's a very good Sean Connery impression or whatnot. But yeah, leaps of faith are like burning the bridge. Like you have to separate from the old. And all that old stuff ties back into a life that I'm no longer in. connections I'm no longer a part of. So I have to pull all that energy back to me, which means I have to kill it off. Now, as soon as I made that decision, I haven't decided like when, like like I said, I'm waiting to hear back on something so I can plan this, but I've already decided to do it. And you see this a lot of times, like with magic and stuff like that. It doesn't even matter that you haven't, waved your hands in the air or done anything like that. You've already decided. So as soon as you decide, like the resonance between the present and the future kicks on and things begin to change. And I've had this freaking, like, not anxious, like I don't know how to describe it. This like heavy pressure on my chest. And when I checked back with my friend, I'm like, can you still not see me? Can you tell what it's doing with my heart chakra area now? And she's like, it looks like a vortex now. I'm like, yep, it feels like one too. I don't know what that means yet, but it means like changes in motion. Well, you can't make this up. So literally, when I paused at that break, as soon as I paused, Messenger beeped, and somebody from the group that has our pendants sent me a message with a video clip. Now, a lot of you old school people know, because the Luminite pendants are plugged into Sophia, she basically runs them. It kind of plugs you into a network, and it makes it easier to communicate with others, because what I see happen a lot is right when I need to see something, maybe it's something I didn't know about or something I didn't see, but I'm looking at a specific subject, somebody else that's part of our group will suddenly message me with exactly what I need to see at the exact right moment. It's also what makes it easier for me to do consults and stuff like that. But anyway, he sent me like with what I was just talking about. This is the video clip that he sent me.
I'll tell you one of the best ways to do that is, and I'm going ahead of myself, but one of the best ways to do that is, the more you exit the personal who you are, the more you disassociate yourself with the person that you know yourself to be, the more and more you go towards your new self. Yeah. You see, so I don't take nothing personal about Bobby Hemmett no more. You see, so the more and more you exit from the person who is the false self. Yeah. They say thou shalt not worship false idols. I'm not talking about no other gods, because one man's God is another man's devil. All gods are the same ultimately. It's just your perspective on it. That's a fight. That's a male or human fight more than a reality of what God is. When they say we should not worship false idols, the self you know yourself up as, like myself, the person I know myself as Bobby Hemmett is the false idol. The true self is inside of me, who never incarnated on this planet. Just think about that for a minute. We've never existed on this planet. No true self. That's mind-blowing shit. You mean to tell?
So that just underlines it and confirms that that is indeed what she wants me to do. For me to go forward is, yeah, I might not be that old person, but there's a lot of residue of my old ego still out there that people are attached to, and it needs to go. Needs to be no trace of who I used to be. This needs to be the only me that there is, Christopher Lumen. It's also why I changed my name back to, that's what we originally had it as on Facebook, because it just made sense, because Christopher's in the left side of the brain and Lumen's in the right side of the brain. Christopher means bearer of Christ. Lumen means the light. Christopher is C. Lumen is the light. See the light. You know, it all ties together, nice and neat. Christ, Sophia. We're all microcosms of the same thing. So I'm gonna be gearing up for that. Like that will open things up. I know it will. I know it will. And she'll probably boost the channel at that point too. So I might need to make some changes, maybe upgrade some stuff or whatnot. Set up a, I like this scene, but maybe I'll set something up, get a slightly fancier microphone or something like that. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But it'll get more stuff out there. I gotta dump all that dead weight. So there's that. What else was it about that? Okay, so let's circle back to the beginning that led to the stuff that I needed to tell you. That is the thing I said I discovered. For that, I need my notes. So I started putting these images together that were in my head because we've been talking a lot about the spiral lately, the spiral map, and how we can sometimes pick up on maybe future events that are ahead of us in the spiral, but also we can be affected by all the events, even small ones, that are behind us in the spiral. And that's another reason why you have to dump the old ego identity. And it's not just traumas like we generally talk about them. It's like, oh, I got my heart broken this one time, or oh, this happened. Every time you have a reaction that is detected by the sympathetic nervous system and recorded in the hippocampus, processed by the amygdala, which deals with fear, it's recording all these. Like, it could just be like, you could have a couple days of extreme stress because you're freaked out about money for, rent's coming up or something like that. Like, it's recording all of that stuff. And this diagram I was seeing was like, this is almost like down to the day. Now, there's things I'm still trying to figure out because I'm not buying the calendar explanation, but it can still be pretty close. I'm looking at this 360 degrees model because that fits more with quantum reality and mathematics and a system. And I think that the structure of time and calendars and crap that they gave us is intentionally warped. The reason that I started to look at this is it occurred to me to look. And when a couple of videos back, when I first reported that my back went out and that there was some sort of root chakra blowout, well, guess what? It was almost a year to the day that I realized I was in trouble medically. Now, there was like a 5-day difference between that and me going into the hospital, but I knew about it. And I was putting it off because, that's what we do. I'd gotten kind of a cheapo blood sugar or glucometer or whatever. And I could see that it was high. And I was having all sorts of problems. Like it never happened to me before. I was in ketoacidosis. I was just loopy, couldn't walk right, couldn't see. My vision was all screwed up. And the vision in my left eye has been wonky here for the last 2 weeks. And I think that's a remnant of it too. So right about the time that whole thing started, well, jump forward 1 year to now, and boom, it perfectly intersects with this whole back issue. And it's like, holy crap, I could see it. It was plain as day. I had already hypothesized about this. So when I was going deeper into it, it's like, yeah, we know the traumas, but we don't know the hundreds and thousands of smaller events. Like, it could have started in one particular year and then it cycles around to the next year and then it picks up on that old code and repeats the feeling. There might not be an issue, but you start having the feeling, and then the feeling causes the issue. And there's a name for that, which I found once I asked ChatGPT some questions. Anniversary reactions and time-linked emotional cycles. Anniversary reactions refer to the resurfacing of emotions, thoughts, or physiological responses around physiological responses. So that would explain like why my left eye is a little blurry. Around the same time of year when a past event, especially a distressing or intense emotional experience, occurred. While this is well documented in trauma psychology, similar cyclical emotional patterns can happen with any strong past experience, including fears, anxieties, or even positive emotions. Anniversary reactions occur because the brain and body store experiences in a time-coded way, even when a person is not consciously remembering the event. These reactions can be conscious, where the person remembers the event and anticipates feeling a certain way, or unconscious, where the person experiences the emotions without realizing they are tied to a past event. For example, if someone had financial stress in February of previous years, they might suddenly feel fear of lack every February, even if their current financial situation is stable. The body and subconscious mind may still associate this time of year with distress. That's exactly what I was talking about. That's exactly what was happening to me. I'm like, why am I freaking out about money? When things are going so good. Da-da-da. Studies and psychological mechanisms behind this. Trauma and emotional memory storage. Like I said, your body is a wet computer. Judith Herman, 1992, in Trauma and Recovery, discusses how trauma is encoded in the brain and can be reactivated by internal cues, including time of year. The amygdala, which processes fear, and the hippocampus, which encodes memory, interact in a way that can create time-linked emotional reactions. If an event was highly emotional, the brain may stamp the time of the year as a contextual trigger. And then it also kind of links to mood congruence and implicit triggers. Gordon Brower, 1981, proposed the mood congruency effect, where emotions from past experiences are more likely to surface when a person enters a similar mood state. If a person was anxious in February of the past, their brain may unconsciously seek out reasons to feel anxious again in February, even if no external stressor exists. Examples of time-linked emotional cycles. Unexplained sadness or anxiety every fall could be linked to past stressful events that happened during that season. Sudden feelings of lack or fear around tax season, even if finances are stable, past financial struggles could have left an imprint. Feelings of grief around a certain month, even if a loss was years ago, the emotional memory resurfaces at that time annually. So that matched what I was already starting to formulate in my head. It's like we have to go deeper with clearing the past. And I'm working on a method. My friend suggested a shortcut by using the moon cycles because the moon transits through the signs faster than the sun does. I'm like, but I'm seeing this show up in a solar cycle. Where was the sun when it happened? So I've got some ideas about that. It's pretty simple. It involves using, just like everything else we do, you got to exercise and then you got to bless. So it'll be something like the first time you do it would be like for that day and the next day. Exercise all the past records going back as far as you can. You might not technically need to go all the way back to birth, but maybe it would be best. We need to do something like maybe just count up to how old you are, just to account for clearing each year of that. You're clearing all the negative stuff. Like this isn't worked out yet, but like especially fear-based, fear and trauma-based stuff, clearing it out, because I just saw freaking evidence that this is real. And that is the thing. Well, it's one of two things that is constantly keeping us off on our toes when things can be going really good, but especially, shoot, after a 7-year hero's journey, oh, there was a lot of bad days. So I got to do that, because otherwise you don't know if you're, oh, it's going to be, March whatever. And like, maybe on March whatever, the last couple years, like something bad happened, and you start picking up on that emotion. And then you start thinking that way, and then you start manifesting that way. And that's how we end up in a freaking box. Okay, because our brains are time stamping every negative freaking experience and making you feel that way when you come back around to that date. This place is bullshit. The way it works. Like, it's so stupid and tricky. There was, it made me think of, I think, a Secret Book of John. There's this one section here where it said in the Nag Hammadi, to the present day, fate is tougher and stronger than what gods, angels, demons, and all the generations have encountered. For from fate has come all iniquity and injustice and blasphemy, the bondage of forgetfulness, excuse me, and ignorance, and all burdensome orders, weighty sins, and great fears. Thus all of creation has been blinded so that none might know the God that is over them all. Because of the bondage of forgetfulness, their sins have been hidden. They have been bound with dimensions, times, and seasons, and fate is master of all. And what is fate? I kind of go with this definition. Fate can be understood as the unfolding of events shaped by past choices and causes, where each action generates effects that in turn shape future outcomes. Rather than an unalterable destiny imposed by an external force, fate emerges as a web of interconnected causes and effects influenced by individual and collective choices. So what we need to do, using the tools that we have, is we need to go into the hard drive and scrub all the time codes out of the hippocampus. That seems to be a job for Name of God number 72, Moom, which collapses structures and systems that work against you. That has to be it. Has to be. Because this could all be, the stuff we're talking about here is not necessarily going to always be something that you can pin it on. Like going to the hospital or something like I did. It could be just something you don't even remember. But that's why we keep, we have everything going good for us, and then it seems like it's coming back. It's not always the adversary. It's just this freaking computer program. There's some other notes. It wasn't in there, but it had something to do with, like, that's how the brain works. It like time codes things in order to. Are you sure it's not in there? It's very simple. Yeah, anniversary reactions occur because brain body store experience in a time coded way. And the other note said something like, because it's trying to predict the future, basically. But in trying to predict the future, it's actually causing it. So screwed up code in our freaking computer. And that's also why we get into a smaller and smaller box, because the other thing that we stumbled upon right before that was this. I think I screenshotted it. Yeah, I think I did. This is another video that I saw right before I started getting on the track to discovering this.
Fleas are placed inside the jar and the lid is then sealed. They are left undisturbed for 3 days. Then, when the jar is opened, the fleas will not jump out. In fact, the fleas will never jump higher than the level set by the lid. Their behavior is now set for the rest of their lives. And when these fleas reproduce, their offspring will automatically follow their example. This is how generational trauma truly works.
So when you look up those studies and things like that, that's how we get in a tighter and tighter box too, where we don't even try to get out of it, because you just get zapped so many times that you quit touching the electric fence. Fence might not even be on anymore. There's a door on the other side of the electric fence, but you've been zapped so many times, you ain't even going to try. So I started doing a hardcore audit of my beliefs. And I've done this before, but I'm going to go further with it. So I was telling my friend, I'm like, all this volcano crap that's going on, I'm like, mark my words, nothing's going to happen. Because I've just seen it too many freaking times. I think it's just there. It's like that video we did with all the clips from Bad Boys 2. That's that bullshit. It's always showing you doom around the corner. That's the problem with that prepper community. They always see doom right around the corner. Always. And the system wants you to think that. That's why people that I know people that used to review stuff like I did, and they switched to a freak out about what's right around the corner model. Like, oh, they're coming for your gun, well, like whatever. And their views exploded, and they started making crazy money, because that's what the system wants. I said the best way for you to make money easy is to join the evil side and lead your fellow man astray and keep him in the box, and you'll be rewarded. Good little slave. Go get us some more souls. Nope, nopey nope, nope, nope. But you see, like, there's actually precedent for what I was thinking, what I was mapping out in my head. As soon as I asked ChatGPT the right questions, it's like, oh yeah, there's a name for that. It's like, holy crap. Well, if we know it's there, we can use certain tools to clear it, just like we clear individual trauma events. I just have to, I have to structure it right with the precise context. The context has to be perfect. If you get the context perfect, it will work. You can go in and reformat your brain. It's just a computer. My friend reminded me recently, like, one of the great examples that I've talked many times about on this channel before was when I got tired of dealing with all the demonic crap, helping people with that kind of stuff, and just in general, I treated my brain like a computer, and I went and found a file, and the file said, demons and other evil dumb shit that I can't stand. Opened it up and had a whole bunch of list of things. I took the whole thing and dragged and dropped it in the trash in my mind computer. Poof, gone. Like, for 9 months, this place was boring as hell. You might call it peaceful, but for me, it kind of got boring. There was no spice. Like, I did that like in September, and it went into October, and October didn't even feel like October. You know how October's got that feeling and that smell and that energy? That October wasn't there. I barely saw any Halloween decorations. I barely saw any horror. I barely, it looked like freaking April. There was no spookiness in it at all because I deleted it out of my reality. I only put it back in at, you know, a lesser percentage just because I was bored. Like, oh, well, I built all these freaking pendants that basically blow up demons, but there's no demons to blow up. So like, where's the fun in that? So let some of these little dumb idiots back in just so I can stomp on them just because I'm bored. But you can do that. So if you can do that, you can delete all the other stuff when you have the right context. It's also like, I think it's the law of causality in the hermetic laws and the Kybalion, which is like, I forget the exact words, but it's basically like you can overcome conditions in the lower system by utilizing the upper system. You know, you can fix the lower mind with the higher mind. You know, tapping into her, the Sophia grid, she is above and beyond this entire reality. So when you're using her, you can go in and rewire your freaking brain, or you can do it the hard way. Listening to the people that write books about neuroplasticity or something like that. I'm like, there's more than one way to skin a cat, and I can usually figure out a way to do it easier. Yeah, I can strip freaking anxiety out of someone's head in freaking 25 minutes. I think I can figure this out. I can shut the adversary mind up in 25 minutes. I think I can figure this out. I just need the context. And then that. So if you do that, and then you continually do this daily process that I'm contemplating, which is to exercise the day ahead and bless the day ahead. And if you do that every day, it's like mounting a big snow plow on the front of your truck. And you're making sure, even though you already went in and deleted the hippocampus stuff, whatever, we want to double down and be sure. And by the time you go one full circle, solar cycle, then there's no more past residual negative imprints. Like I speculated that if done right, that would probably dramatically shift the frequency of the world that you're living in. Like that might even be like how you get into heaven on earth. I've only seen that like twice, briefly. It's like the whole world changes. Feels completely different. So once I work this out, I will definitely teach it to everybody. And I would be using the Aegis pendant for that, or the Hunter Killer oil, because the Hunter Killer oil's got the required names printed on the bottle. Like, you know, it's got number 72 Moom, but we definitely want to focus on fear. And that name is Menad. I forget what the number is, but Menad is for removing fear. And I'm very good with the 72 names of God. I have full access to them because I have Lumen. If you don't have the light in you, they won't work. But I can transfer that. I can put it into things like Aegis pendants and, you know, those oils and stuff like that. So I don't want the world to end yet. Don't, like, give me like a year and a half before you blow up, because I want to see if we can do this. Plus, it probably won't anyway. It's just, look at the evidence behind you. We've seen it too many times. Things pop up. Oh, look. I mean, what, 2 months ago? Remember all the freaking UAPs and drones and stuff? Everyone was expecting an alien invasion. You see any aliens outside? No. All the weird fog. See any fog monsters? Are there cities full of dead people? No. There's always something. That's why we got to just dump the poison of the world and just freaking stop playing with it. Fix ourselves. This game is winnable. And this stuff that we just discovered today feels like one of the biggest things ever. We haven't messed with this before. So I'm looking forward to trying it out. Okay. I could probably talk some more about that, but keep this wrapped up. And it looks like I need to charge my microphone here pretty quick. But let me know what you think in the the comment section below. Make sure you like the video. I can't wait. I want to find out when those freaking knives are going to be done, because I want to kill that channel. Because I'm telling you, as soon as I do, this channel is going to freaking explode. I know it. I know it. She just proved it to me in this video. All that energy is being sunk, and I'm going to get it all back. So if you want to, you got a couple more, like, what is today? Got a couple more days on that for that coupon code for the store. clumencreations.etsy.com. I got more stuff that, if it wasn't for that stuff today, I would have listed more things. I made a bunch of new stuff, plus some of those volcano pendants, whoosh, and more of the big ones, spiritual energy ones. Because you definitely, the Aegis are important, but so are like the Luminite ones, because you want something that just plugs you into her energy easier. And then check out the music on the SoundCloud. All those links are in the description box below. Chris and Lumen, aka Christopher Lumen. See you next time.